Thank you. First of all, I do have my tickets for Rolling of the Balls. If I win the Funfest concert tickets, you can give them to somebody else. It's fine. I get it. If Ken Marsh turned my money in, I paid him in cash. I got no receipt. No, I'm kidding. I did get the mail with the tickets. They're on my desk. So yeah, he can be trusted. So, I have been blessed to perform a number of roles in the community in the course of my lifetime, but Funfest chair was never in the books. I mean, I couldn't do it because I worked for the city. And Judd Teague approached me a couple years ago after I'd retired and said, "Hey, would you like to do that?" And I said, gosh, that was like my bucket list item, to be a Funfest chair. And so I happily signed on to do that. And I was the vice chair for Elaine Washington. Now, if you know Elaine, she was in finance at Eastman. She had moved here from Charlotte. I think she's originally from the Chicago area. So she was new to town, relatively new. And so I jumped in with her and took her around to the block parties, and I was explaining the history of Funfest and why it existed in the first place, and introduced her to folks. And we had this just bonding experience where she said, she's an African American woman, right? And she says, I looked at the statistics of this area and I said, I'm not so sure I want to move there because there's not a lot of people like me. And she said, we got down here and we went out on Broad Street the first night we were here, and they were having a concert. It happened to be like a Motown band, and my husband and I started dancing a little bit, and she said, then he pulled me to the side and said, hey, wait a minute, we're the only ones like this here. And so they stopped dancing, and she thought I've made a horrible decision. And she has decided to retire by now, okay, so she's already made her mind up she's gonna retire. But she said, Jeff, it wasn't like that at all. It was all in my head. It wasn't like that at all. She said, I've never lived in a place like this. She said, when we were having problems with the police situation a couple years ago, she said, nobody knew, but my brother is an Illinois State Trooper. And so when I heard the Kingsport police talk about their methods for handling diversity, he had given me a checklist of things. If they say these things, they know what they're doing. And she said, they did every one of them. She said, they did every one of them. So she said, this is the only place I have ever lived that when I retire, I've cried. I didn't want to leave. She said, and so it's stories like that that just help me understand what a truly special place Kingsport is. And she lives in Greenville, South Carolina now, but she's coming in for Funfest. And she's going to stay she's actually staying 2 weeks. She's coming in today. And I'm looking forward to seeing her. So who remembers why Funfest was created? Do you remember the phrase? Community unity. Okay, so do we have past Funfest chairs here in the room today? Past Funfest board members? All right, good deal. So it was community unity. And so when people ask you from out of town, they say, what is Funfest? What is this Funfest I keep hearing about? Is it a concert? Is it a parade? What is it? And I guess the proper question is, what isn't it? It's 9 chock-full days of activities that are sponsored by businesses around town. They're staffed with volunteers, and then there's Funfest store volunteers, there's chamber staff, there's city staff that all make it happen. But it's not lost on me that just one day of Funfest would be considered a monumental achievement for many, many, many places. But not only do we do 9 days, this year they added 4th of July on top of that and said we really want to go above and beyond. Well, guess who organized 4th of July? With a team. She won't ever take credit individually. She calls it her village. But they stepped up, and 38 Special was here on the 4th of July. There was 23,000 people downtown based on the drone shot. 23,000 people at a free concert downtown. So we turn around, when was 4th of July? Like last week? So today we're starting block parties. There's 30. So we've got about 5 today that we're going to personally. We've got about 5 tomorrow and about as many on Sunday that we're going to go to. So we'll get to about half of them. But there's 30 block parties all across the community. Unless you're in one of those neighborhoods that's having a block party, you may not even realize that. But that's the precursor to Funfest. It's an excuse. The community unity idea is an excuse to get people out of their houses, interacting with their neighbors, asking about their kids, bonding with them. At the 4th of July parade, Charlie Sorrells was walking down the street, and I hadn't seen him in years. I said, God, Charlie, it's great to see you. I haven't seen you. You look great. And he said, I'm walking down the street and I'm seeing all these people I hadn't seen in 30 years, and I don't know how I haven't seen them. That's what Funfest is about. It's about seeing all those folks that you've met in your community over time and interacting with them. And that's hard to put on a chamber promotional piece because most places don't have the level of community that we do have. We're very, very blessed that we have someone that understands intimately our community, our culture, the Funfest culture, to be able to take it over and operate it, and that is Emily. Now, she does have a fleet of volunteers behind her to make it happen, but it's all in context based on what the way she sets the tone. I asked her, I said, when I signed up to be this chairman role, back in the day when they very first had chairs, it was loaned executives from businesses, and they did the budget, and they did the concert negotiation. They dealt with the various business CEOs on how much money was going to be paid and when it was going to be paid and what the sponsorship fees were. The chairman doesn't do any of that anymore. And I said, Emily, I've been thinking how I can describe what the role of the chairman is, and the best I can come up with is it's like being a grandfather. And I said, luckily I've got a little experience now with my 2 granddaughters. I said, you just need to be there, be present, thank and acknowledge people. You don't have to make any major decisions. You don't have to discipline anybody. You don't have to make it, all you're there is to hug necks and make people feel good about being here. And I said, that's my specialty. That's my specialty. I don't like telling people no when it comes to, budgets and that sort of thing. But I have seen her, and I've watched very quietly. We haven't discussed it a lot, but I'll walk in and she's on the phone and she's hung up and I'll say, hey, what's going on? Well, I got another sponsor. Really? Who was it? And she told me who it was. And not only did they do that, but they also sponsored the Downtown Concert Series, which she's also in charge of. So think about that. We just, on the way from the Y, we stopped at Broad Street and put out the Don't Park Here Tonight, there's a party tonight. She does that too. Okay? So I just don't know if people fully appreciate what all it takes. Think about the most exhausting event you ever planned. Maybe it's your kid's wedding. And then think about doing that umpteen times over right in a row. That's what they do. And they do it so seamlessly that we don't even realize how seamless it actually is. We just get to be the beneficiary of their very hard work. And so, Emily, I'm going to turn it over to you for more details about Funfest this year, but I think she deserves a standing ovation for the work that she does.
I knew it was coming. When I saw him fill up his cup, I knew it was coming. He had to have his moment. He always does. Thank you, Jack. It's great to see you. Thank you, Jeff. I'll tell you, rolling out of a COVID year into a half COVID and now the new phrase of supply chain issue, knowing that having Jeff as the chair this year definitely made that easier. He is definitely the best support system you can have for our team. What he doesn't mention is he also works for Visit Kingsport part-time, and you all know of his great efforts with Move to Kingsport, and so we keep him busy. He keeps us hopping as well. So thank you for that and for those kind words. Again, it is a village, and the village on this one is huge. It involves so many businesses, so much of this community, so many volunteers. The entire staff that I work with has some part to play in it, whether they want to or not. And the biggest piece of that is we could not do it without this great city and every single department that is in the city. Literally is how we put all of these events that he has mentioned on. And it is here. It is game time. There is zero doubt in that. I love that I'm getting to speak to you all right as we kick it off because there's Funfest shirts in the room, which means we've partially done our job. At least some of you have found your way to the Funfest store. So that's great. So thank you for letting us take some time to talk to you today. We do hope you'll go check out some block parties this weekend. If the rain holds off, come join us for a concert downtown as well. And of course, Sharon has a whole team of volunteers as well. We could not do it without our Trash Buster team with Keep Kingsport Beautiful either. She moved and I realized, there's Sharon. Thank you. So it is a village, and this village is ready to party. And we're going to party for 9+ days. It is packed full this year. We have more events than last year. We have gained back quite a few events that we lost due to COVID last year. So we're very excited about that. A lot of those key things like Farmfest and square dancing and things that, to me, it's not Funfest without them. Thank goodness they're back this year. The dog show is back this year. So some of those really cool pieces. As Jeff said, Funfest is about community unity, and what I love most about it is it tries to hit as many niches as we can. We try to have something for everyone, and we work really hard to continue to add what those niches are. So we do kick off officially Friday. So we kick it off with a parade, of course, through downtown, followed by a concert on Broad Street, which is serving these last few years as the official kickoff. We kind of stopped stretching out that whole day to really say the parade is it. We call it the longest parade in the world, and to us it is. And I can promise you it will be no shorter this year. It's even blessed this year with some, part of that team effort is, part of Visit Kingsport is we have some really neat convention groups in this summer. One got to be here to experience 4th of July with us, and that was the GTO car group, a couple hundred of those, if you saw them around town. Well, for Funfest, you get a chance to hang out with the Falcon Club. So we will have all of those Falcon cars joining us for the parade as well. So it's going to be a really neat ending to the parade. So get excited for that. It'll still be the longest parade ever. So then we charge right in. It is a weekend packed full. Crazy Eights, is our big Saturday night. We spend the day downtown for the downtown street fair. Crazy Eights had a really exciting announcement this year where we have added, they are now the men's national championship. Let's see if I get it all right. For the USA Track and Field 8K. So we will have all of those men's championship competitors from all over the U.S. And when we say all over the U.S., it really is also international reach because many of those are still our international runners that are U.S. citizens. So they are competing, for that championship. That is going to be so great because how many people can wake up and say, you know what, let's go try the Crazy Eights today. I don't know why people do that. I feel like you should train for that. But people do it. And now you can wake up and go say, let's go run the Crazy Eights, and you are literally running beside the United States National Championships. So that's great. I mean, you can't do that anywhere, and you get to do it in Kingsport. Previously, that has been held in places like New Orleans and New York, and the 8K is now in Kingsport. So that really puts us on the map, and we're excited about that. Sunday, another full day. I wish I could tell you every single event that's happening, but you all don't have all day, and I know that. But exciting additions for Sunday is Farmfest joining us again from Exchange Place. And a great expansion of the events out at Allendale. We are so excited for the Allendale Family Picnic, which will encompass a lot of the events we've had for a long time with croquet and the house tours. We added food trucks a few years ago. Well, we're really taking that to the next level this year. So there's going to be a lot more activity out there for the afternoon and evening. We will have gospel music and contemporary Christian music in the amphitheater all afternoon. Lots more food trucks than we've had in the past. Activities for children, and also some added activities for that group we try so hard to reach, and that's your middle school, high school age. So we're going to have Jelly Ball, which is like paintball without it hurting or staining you. It's really neat. Very excited about it. It is for all ages, so don't feel like you can't come. Some really great things out there. So Allendale is going to be the place to be for Saturday, and we're excited about that. New event this year, also on Sunday. Another new niche we get to add to the Funfest party is a vinyl record show. So at the Civic Auditorium is a vinyl record show that is a super new addition for Funfest. If you are a fan of vinyl records, if you just kind of like to check them out, Radio Bristol will be out there live to spin some vinyl, and you can also purchase vinyls while you're there. So we'll hope you check that out. And then the week keeps rolling. We have a lot of, youth events and sporting events that kind of hit throughout the middle, the dog show, the Rhythm and Riverview event, just a lot of things that spread throughout that week as we charge into what we call the main hub, when we have the Taste in Memorial Park and movie night on Wednesday and 3 really great concerts. If you have not looked yet, a great lineup this year. It's been very well received, and we hope it continues to be. So on Thursday night, we will have Shane and Zach Williams for the Contemporary Christian event. On Friday, we have Colt Ford and Jamie Johnson. If you are a country fan of any kind or really any music, even if you don't know those two musicians, look them up. They have either written for or written with and collaborated with literally artists from every genre. So it will be a really neat show having the two of them because it's going to cover a really good spread of music. And then Saturday, we are very excited to have Dalton Dover, who, if you were a fan of The Voice, he was on Blake's team a few years back, a really neat gentleman with a lot of great new music out right now. And then we are so excited to have for our headliners this year, Leonard Skinner. Thank you for that. I mean, you could not tee that one up any better. He has waited all day. Thank you, Mayor. So indeed, you will get your full dose. Yes, you can get your full dose of Freebird on Saturday night, followed by, of course, the greatest fireworks show that we have. We sure tried to reach as close as we could to it downtown, but you can do so much more right there at J. Fred Johnson Stadium than you can do downtown. So it's going to be bigger and better yet again for that fireworks show. We have even more hot air balloons this year than last. So if weather cooperates, we will have some great showings from that. I hear that Sunny Boy is also back to party with us this year, so the Festus balloon should be here as well. I am happy to answer any questions you have, event specific. Jeff, of course, does such a great job in covering why is Funfest what it is and why are we here. And really, I'm just blessed to get to be a part of it for the majority of my life and be with all the great people that helped to put this on. There's no doubt that it represents all that I think Kingsport is and the Kingsport spirit, and just glad to be a small piece of it. Yes, sir.
Have we thought about bringing back the golf and tennis tournaments?
I would love for them all to come back. You know, the fun thing about Funfest is that most of it's not up to me. I want it to be, but I love especially a lot of those events that we've kind of lost through the years. And what a lot of people that aren't in it forever maybe don't understand is it takes somebody else saying, I have an idea and here's what I think. And then either you say, hey, we have a sponsor to join us, or we'll help you find one. And we would love to add to our artillery. So I would love to see some of those come back. I have a nice little wish list in my office of other ones. I keep trying to convince the insurance company that I can bring back the Crazy Boat Race, but they keep telling me no. One day I'm going to get a yes, I know it. But I would love to see those come back, would love to chat with anybody that wants to help put those on. We always have a team of volunteers and sponsors kind of waiting in the wings of attaching themselves to something new. So you bring it our way and we'll get it back in motion. Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Emily, 17th, Sunday, isn't that the Miss Kingsport, Miss Sullivan County?
Wouldn't you know that the mayor has noted that I have skipped an event on Sunday, and indeed the Miss Kingsport and Miss Sullivan County pageant is on Sunday, and it is back at the Eastwood Employee Center. You can still get your tickets or get them at the door. And we do have tickets still for everything available at the Funfest store. The majority of the merchandise is still available. I have some if you'd like to see it here. Some of you are already wearing it, so that's good. But we have a little bit of everything still left, but don't wait too long because it is selling quickly. Jack, did you have a question?
I did. I wanted to comment that only a prurient interest person would point out the beauty pageant.
Listen, all of our events are equally important.
Now, seriously speaking, I want to thank you. People don't realize how great you are.
No, Jack.
Wait, be quiet. I work with this girl, this lady from Girls Club, Girls Inc. forever. And she is absolutely can do anything, anywhere, anytime. And we're very fortunate to have people like you in our city government. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now wait a minute, don't laugh, I'm serious. I know I'm a lawyer, but you can believe me when I say that.
Absolutely. 100%. Thank you. That's right. Thank you, Jack. I just love to party. I love to have a good time. And I say to everybody, my favorite moment is not because it's over, but my favorite moment is the day after Funfest when I wake up. Sometimes it means we haven't gone to sleep, depends on the night. I love the Sunday after Funfest because I open my phone and I open Facebook because, you know, it's what we do. And it is full of everyone's pictures from something they did throughout the week. And that is the coolest moment because we get to see what everyone else saw from their perspective and seeing that they don't know who else was there. They don't know how many people were there. They don't know who sponsored that event. They don't know how much it cost. They don't know any of those pieces, but what they know is that their family was there, their friends were there, and they took the time to take a picture from their perspective. And we get to see through their eyes while we continue to show up and do what we do. And we're just going to keep on showing up and making it bigger and better. So they'll keep taking pictures. Yes, sir.
Emily, I think it's important to note that the sponsors enable, because they get so much money, that it enables the ticket sales to be much less than what they would normally be for concerts in particular.
Yes, and I would say a special note to this year, you know, I took the role from someone that had been doing a fabulous job for a very long time, and it was scary enough to follow Lucy with some very big shoes to fill, but then also doing it when we took a break and coming in with a COVID year, and you know, you don't know what to expect. And now we're in a new age of everything's also a lot more expensive, and entertainers and production and all of these pieces, it is a whole new world just in the matter of a year. And we have had sponsors that truly have stepped up with more than I could have ever imagined. Especially, I will say to anybody in this room, if you run into somebody from Cardinal Glass Industries, say thank you for being in this community, because that team came in and said, what do we have to do? Because we know how much Funfest and other events mean to this community, and they have been a big piece of why we're able to do what we have always done, and that is battle very hard to make it affordable for everybody and continue to make the majority of it free, and that those things that we have, like very large national acts, that anywhere else you're going to at minimum pay $75, you know, that's the top of the line, and you're going to pay a very minimal ticket price of $15 or $20 here. And we will fight the battle to keep that, you know, as long as we can, but it is because of sponsors that continue to make that possible, and the support of this community and the city. Yes, sir.
Is the medallion treasure hunt on this year?
It is indeed. So we brought the medallion hunt back last year. It was very well received. You know, we worked very hard to bring that back with the spirit that it had in the beginning, and it did. So we have expanded that this year to even more days and more medallions. So it will start on Saturday and run through Saturday, with surprises up our sleeve at every turn. You may hide one at your house? Just checking.
Yeah, I know where his house is.
We'll let you take it home with you. Yes, Charlie?
Emily, tell us about the financial impact of Funfest on the greater Kingsport area.
You know, there's zero question we have a whole lot of people that roll into town for 9 days, which makes it also very hard to measure. But the economic impact is certainly a large reach from this event, especially the pieces that we don't think about. You know, as we are housed with Visit Kingsport, what is very important to us is how many extra people are we bringing into town for this, but knowing that Funfest was created for the community, and it is about our local community. What it has grown into is a way for our local community to bring people back. So it has very much become families' time to come visit. I know it's some people's time to take a vacation, and that's fine. You can do that. But a lot of people are traveling in for that. We also have all of those balloon pilots, all those artists, our production teams, all of our ticketing teams, the runners that are coming in for Crazy Eights is a huge list. We typically have a reach of about 34, 36 states are represented at Funfest, be it through concerts or races or balloons. And that alone, just knowing we have that many people coming in from out of town, is a huge economic impact for us. And then you get down to the real nitty gritty of we're dumping thousands of people in all different parts of town that maybe they're not usually in, that they're not there for just for Funfest. You know, everybody has got to go, you got to buy something to use somebody's inside potty, and we know how much that matters to people. So you've got all those people, especially in our downtown. We saw the effects of that last weekend with 4th of July. You know, we kept telling them, don't worry, we're bringing all these people to downtown, and you're going to notice, well, every single downtown restaurant basically ran out of food. And that's amazing. And those are the little impacts that it has throughout all of these events that we do, when we can dump people, you know, into downtown, out towards Allendale, you know, all these different places that maybe just see that trickle effect. Bays Mountain, I mean, that place is packed through Funfest without question. And they too have really stepped up a lot of extra events for this year. So I think they're going to see a lot of that effects of new visitors. And it's really the way for our community to show what we do every day. You know, we at Visit Kingsport spend all of our time telling the rest of the world what we have. You know, come see Bays Mountain, come ride the carousel, come do all of these things. But a lot of times our local community doesn't really realize we get that, well, there's nothing to do in Kingsport. Oh, well, there's plenty to do and I'm tired. So if y'all would just get out of your house, you're going to find it too. So there is so much that this gives us a chance to highlight places you maybe didn't see. You know, maybe you didn't know what all was going on at Holston Habitat for Humanity. And just by throwing an event with some artists building something out of what they have there gives people a chance to go in those doors and see that and come back. And that's what we're here for. Get people in there for a reason so that they'll come back and visit it later. And I think that's why you can't even measure the impact of what events like this, not just Funfest, do, because it's the people that come back because they saw it for that reason.
Hey, I'd like to thank Jeff also, and he's Mr. Magic. For years in Kingsport, he's done magic works.
That is true.
Don't ask questions, he just gets it done.
He does get it done.
No, it hasn't been charged yet, so he's okay. But thank you, Jeff. But that's good.
Well, thank you all for having us. We hope you will party at some block parties this weekend and join us as we have 9 full days of fun.